Today, we're going to embark on an adventure to light up your life in ways you never imagined. Many decades ago, I found myself stuck in a rut and constantly thinking, when I get the money, when I get the perfect job, when things finally go my way. Now, does that sound familiar? Yes. And we're waiting. And all of this is what's called condition-based thinking. Okay, that means that our thoughts are based on our conditions. And today we're going to talk about the idea that that's backwards thinking, that we want to think from divine principle first, from universal principle first, and then move into action. And today I'm going to share with you 4 universal principles. Now, let me say something about universal principle. There is only one, period. That's it. I don't even have a name for it. But sometimes we call it love, or sometimes we call it God. But when we look at individual principles, just like when we look at physical laws, then we begin to see that there are also things that affect our lives in a non-physical way. And when we learn those laws, just like one of the physical laws is the law of gravity, right? One is the law of aviation. Now, the law of aviation always existed. It existed in dinosaur days, but they didn't know how to name it or hone it in. And once we discovered what the physical law of gravity was, and then evolved into the law of aerodynamics, we could fly. Okay, so it's the same with universal principles. Now, they are running you every day, no matter what you're thinking or doing. And of course, the one that we hear about a lot, but this isn't one I'm going to focus on, is the idea that our thoughts create our experience. Now, that's because there is a universal law that is the thinking stuff activates based on our thoughts. Now, quantum physics is proving that these days. That's so exciting. I was just listening. I don't know if you guys know Michael Beckwith, many people do, but I was just listening to him talk, and he says, back in 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when we started this was all just considered woo-woo religion, right? And now what we're finding through quantum physics is that's actually not woo-woo, it's actually true. And there are scientific experiments taking place now that are proving that. There's one called I'm getting a little off my topic here, but it's so exciting. There's one called I'll think of it, but it's where they actually did a research of looking at how particles and vibration operates based on when people in the room, the observer, watched this happen. And it changed based on how people were thinking, whether it came through in this pattern or that pattern. I mean, this is just an awesome time to be alive, right? Because we now, and this is part of our evolution, going from physical survival kind of places into the realm of our thoughts actually creating our experience. So all of the principles that are so principle is divided out, and I use 12 principles in the work that I teach about. It helps us understand the use of universal principles. But today I'm going to just do 4 to help you see how to sparkle your life by using universal principles. Now, sparkle is one of my signatures, right? I love sparkle. I love to sparkle life. I love to sparkle environments that I come into. And I want to give you some tools on how to do that today. But I want to start you with one of those creative exercises that I don't get to come and do workshops for anymore. But I'd love you to have pencil and paper, or pen and paper, and or felt pens. Now, I think there was a memo in there that you could do this. And of course, you don't have to do this, but I want to show you that this is a way to let what I'm going to talk about in even deeper, and that you're going to be able to assimilate it more. Hi, Terry. Go ahead and mute yourself, Terry. That's one of my buds there. Yeah. And so I've just invited people to get paper and pencil, and I have another camera on here. So you might need to put your camera on viewpoint, but it's right here. I'm going to uncover my camera. It's this one that says Christi on it. And you'll see right now, there's my hand and the piece of paper. And I'm just going to show you a simple scribbling process that you can do all the time. And even when you're listening to me in this talk today, that actually begins aligning. Now, this has been proven scientifically as well, that aligns your synapses. And so as you're listening, and you can do this whenever you're listening to iPods or iPad, what is it? Podcasts or anything, when you want to get, it more in you. So I have my pen and I have my paper, and I like to use a Sharpie, but you can use anything. And actually what's really wonderful about this is it's just a scribble, but you want to intersect your scribbles. Okay, so there, and don't go too detailed. That might even be too detailed, but then you can work on it continually. Okay, so then what you do once you have this scribble, I'm going to wait. I'm going to kind of gear it on Barbara there when she gets her scribble. Then, then what you want to do with this pen is you want to take, and everywhere you see a point, see how that's a point right there? And that's a point. You want to color it in so that it rounds the point off. Okay. And so there I rounded each point off. And I think of it as kind of like drawing in a, like here, it's kind of like drawing in a U. And so as you do this, as I'm talking or you're listening to something, or you're focusing on your own personal intention, this actually helps align your synapses, your brain pathways into aligning with that activity. Okay. And so, let me just give you a second here while you do just a little bit of doodling, okay? And just color in those sharp points like that, okay? And if you happen to get all of your sharp points done, you can start another one and just go on to the other one. I'm going to bring this up a little bit later and show you a little bit more about it. But for right now, this is a great way to be allowing what I have to say today to come in an even deeper way. I'm going to leave that on. If you want to go back to speaker view, I'll be speaking, but you can always return to, if you forgot about the drawing here, you can go back to that. But today we're going to jump into 4 of my favorite universal principles. And you can guess, number 1, it's creativity. So we're going to talk about universals that sparkle your life today, of being the law of creativity, the law of vibration, the law of gratitude, and the law of reciprocity. And I will guarantee you that if you begin to practice with these 4 universal laws, and here's another secret about the doodle that you're doing. If you want to take notes, you would take it right there on the edge of that paper. And when you go back to it, that doodle will help you re-enter what we talked about. But of course, you can always go to the Zoom video that will be posted up. But so today, I'm going to start with the law of creativity. Now, so law of creativity isn't just about art and music. In fact, creativity is the divine force flowing through you, waiting to be expressed through you in every aspect of your life. We can create what has never been imagined before. In fact, that is the divine creativity, when we create things that have never been created before. Now, it can be the combination of things that have never been put together. So I have a friend that is actually, I knew him in college and we're still friends. He lives in Germany. He's German and he's a German physicist there. And he went to become a graduate study teacher in a university in Germany in physics. And he had physics, physics students, and he would teach them. And like, who would do this except somebody really like this brainiac, right? He decided to take a high-level mathematics course just for fun. Now, that's not on my list of fun, but it was on his list of fun. And so he was doing mathematics homework. And it was really weird when he told me this, that these two laws of physics and laws of mathematics, did not mesh. They didn't go together. And in my mind, thinking especially about universal principle, everything has to mesh, right? Well, he was doing he was correcting his physics students' papers. And it came down to the time that he was supposed to, he was done correcting his papers. It was after midnight, and he had to go to doing his mathematics homework. And he started getting kind of, in that late daisy night, mixed up between the law of physics and the law of mathematics. And all of a sudden, he discovered, and you can go look him up, he's known as one of the founders of understanding the law of chaos. Because what happened was he was mixing two principles, mathematics and physics, two scientific principles, and he got mixed up. And when I asked him to explain to me, the first thing you said in his German accent is that, which I can't do, but he said, I can't explain it to you, it's really big. And I said, well, give it to me in the Christi version, right? And he goes, well, the Christi version is you get up high enough, far enough away, and you look down and you can see where things connect. Now, there we have universal principle, right? So even when it looks like things don't connect, everything is connecting under principle. And there's no way that you can step outside of principle. So let's take creativity. Let's say you decide not to be creative, okay? And you're out driving on the road, and a kid's ball rolls out into the road, right? And all of a sudden you swerve and you put on your brakes and you avoid that. Guess what? Even if you had never done that before, you just created something new, at least within your mind, that you had never created before. Now, we don't run scenarios like that unless we're in driver's school, way back when, right? But you created that out of the combination of things to create something new. That's the law of creativity. Even when you think you're not being creative, you are putting things together in a way that has never been put together before, and pulling things out of the infinite possibilities and creating new. Now, I'm going to explain to you how this helps you with sparkle. Okay, and I'm going to use an illustration throughout my talk here of one that I actually haven't manifested yet, which is I want to travel to Costa Rica. Now, as many of you know, I love to travel. I've been to over 35 countries in the world, and I have never been to South America. And I want to go to South America, and I want to go in particular to Costa Rica, right? And I do lead meaningful travel trips to different places. So this is a big possibility, but it's not on the books yet. It's not in the making or the creative sense. And actually, I haven't even, until I decided what to talk about today, I hadn't even put it in my vision, in my dream to go to Costa Rica. So we're going to see what happens over. Probably next time I come talk to you, I'll be talking from Costa Rica, right? So, but you can have your own dream of travel. I do know that there are people that like to stay home, that don't like to travel. I stay home long enough and I get restless. But if you're not that person, just think of a vision, a dream that you may want to create as I go along with my Costa Rica idea. Okay, so the first thing it does is creativity. It is that we need to think about creativity. I've never been to Costa Rica. Now, I've watched videos, I've had friends that have traveled, but I have my own idea of what I would want to do and what Costa Rica would be and what draws me to Costa Rica. And so I would start that. And this is the beginning of writing a vision or creating a vision board. And this is a first step of manifesting number one, and number two, creating sparkle in your life. But I want you to think about whatever your dream is as if I waved a magic wand that it is real in this moment. Okay, so that's the first step around creativity. Create it out of your nothingness. Now, at the end of this talk, I'll put a booklet in that actually is a little booklet that you can use to remember these laws, and they have exercises for you to do at the end of it. So I'll put that in a PDF form, and you should be able to download it and print it out. I'll tell you about that at the end. But so remember, your creative spark is the light that will illuminate your path to joy and fulfillment. Embrace it, nurture it, and let it shine. Now, not many of us are going to create a vision of not having enough money, being lonely, we just don't go there. We do that from what's called status quo thinking, and from, as I mentioned before, the condition-based thinking. See, because that comes out of what we've stored away in our subconscious, and what we've stored away in our subconscious actually runs us, even though we don't know it. That's why it's so dangerous and so, what's the word, invasive, is because it's running us even though we don't know it. And so when we start creating a vision of what we want, even in that moment, it's already beginning to change what's in your subconscious mind running you. So I have a vision of going to Costa Rica. And so that takes us actually to the second law that I'm going to talk about today, which is the law of vibration. Now, the law of vibration, this is a primary universal law. It is the primary universal law. It's kind of like love, right? It's the vibration of the divine showing up in our lives as us, creating the divine through us. Okay, think about that. And I know I've said this before when I've talked to you guys here before, but if you are not living the divine the way the divine would, I mean, the divine doesn't want any of those things, right? Doesn't want poverty, doesn't want illness, doesn't want blah, 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 right? What the divine wants is us to express itself as if we are expressing for it. Okay, and so we want to have the vibrational frequency. Now, a lot of people think the law of attraction, and that was huge when the law of attraction, in fact, Michael Beckwith talked about this, how 30 years ago we didn't know any of this stuff, and then things evolved, and it was actually the secret that came out and kind of like popularized the idea of the law of attraction. It was huge, it was big, it was life-changing, and a lot of people got discouraged because they tried making vision boards, they tried doing blah, 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 and expected it just to happen. Okay, there is some work that we have to do, and that turns us to the law of vibration. Okay, so the law, you are a powerful source of energy, and you're constantly broadcasting to the universe, right? So what you put out, you attract more of. Now, that's a lot of the law of vibration, but it's more than that. It's becoming the feeling tone, to acting as if you are living that vision in the current moment. Now you can say, well, I can see, I know Christi's in Santa Rosa right now. She's not in Costa Rica. But if we start putting on the law of vibration, here's my little description I wrote. And you can either close your eyes and hear this, or you can just feel it. Okay, so here's my dream vision of Costa Rica, just in its beginning. Okay, I feel the warmth, the moist air of the rainforest on my skin. I hear the symphony of birds and monkeys in the distance. I dip my toe into a cool, crystal clear water of a serene lake. I feel it bubbling up inside of me like with joy and adventure. I feel the power of this tranquil environment. You feel it. You feel it. Put it on like it's true now. And then here's the magic. You don't have to wait until you're physically in Costa Rica to feel this way. You carry this vibration. See, that was just a way to help us get a vibrational frequency that we walk through life with. That's the sparkle, right? And you carry this vibration right now with you in your everyday life. You smile at strangers with the same joy. Well, I'm in Costa Rica right now in my mind, and you can join me with my big smile. You can be here now in that same vibrational feeling tone. And so you approach people, you approach your work, you approach everything with this sense of peace and excitement and sparkle. Like, if you act this way, think of how you encounter even the grocery clerk, right? Click, 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 click. How's your day? Click, 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 click. My day is going so great. How about yours? Tell me one good thing that's happened in your life, right? I've done this, and I'm known for doing this at one store in particular. It's like, oh, here she comes, yay, right? It's like, how can we sparkle everywhere in life? Now, yes, that sparkles your life in this moment. And I will tell you, because the way the law works, the more you embed this in your neuro system, in your neurographic system, your neurons, and you're connecting them, then the more this will manifest. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the drawing, and if you want to put it on gallery view so you can see it better, or however you can see it better. So right now you might have all of your little drawings here with all of these things. Now, if you have other felt pens, you can actually enhance this. You can come in here and you can draw spirals in each one of these. This is where you put the sparkle. Oh, let's make a sparkle here. I got this bright, here, we're gonna go sparkle with a bright, sparkly felt pen, right? Bomb, 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 making the sparkle. And just enjoy putting you, and even if you don't have any, you could do simple things like putting X's in this. But this is adding the sparkle to your neural pathways so that you can live in this place of sparkle. Okay, so if you want now, you can return to speaker view. And I want to say that vibration is your superpower. Use it to create the life of your dreams, but even more so, use it to create sparkle in your life. Now, think about it. If you're creating more sparkle in your life, what do you think you're going to get more of? People in your life that bring sparkle, activities, things that make you sparkle. All of those things are going to come more into your life, because it is an absolute fact and truth that what we think of, we create more of. So Emerson said, stand guard at the portal of your mind. And what I say after that is, don't think any thoughts you don't want to create more of. And we're in a time right now where we have a lot of things coming across the news and across politics and all of those things. And we get to pay attention to how we address it. Now, my underlying principle for life is to be for something and against nothing. I refuse to be against anything that I don't want to create more of in my life. And how do we do that? We replace it with things that we do want. Somebody was telling me last night that a lot of what's going on now with some of the new energy that's out there around the politics is people are talking about creating more joy. So instead of focusing on what I don't like, I'm going to focus on what I do like. That we are focusing now on joy and love and kindness. And that's how I encourage you to walk through the day, every thought you have. And when you find yourself with those thoughts that you don't want to create more of, really think about that you don't want to create more of. Find a thought you can think of that you do want to create more of. Okay. And eventually you're going to see sparkle in everything around you. Okay. So then we move on to the next law, the law of gratitude. And the law of gratitude, this is so beautiful. And it's like magic that turns things into our greatest desires, right? Wait a minute. Gratitude isn't that an outward movement? I'm grateful for my son. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful that I have a car. Doesn't that feel like outward energy? That's okay. We're going to talk next about the law of reciprocity. But think of the vibrational feeling tone of gratitude. I am grateful to see your smiling, sparkly face today, right? No matter who you are. Okay. And here's one to get beyond the appearances of things. Look to the center and see that the divine is in and as all things. And the more you see that, the more it will expand in that person's life, in that situation. But if you go, that just burns me, right? That's what you're creating more of. This is really about paying attention to our thoughts, right? So this is really like tuning into a radio broadcast, right? Is we want to tune our radio broadcast into the frequency of gratitude. Now, the good news is that the frequency of gratitude, because there are frequencies of these, if you ever want to learn about this, go look at David Hawkins' chart of vibrations of consciousness, it's called, something like that. And there's all kinds of versions of it. I use that as a teaching tool all the time. But there are vibrational frequencies of our emotions. I mean, you can feel it. Like if you are in fear, you can feel the difference in that. Then when you walk into a joyful party and you feel good, you can feel the shift, the change, right? So we want to work on changing our vibrational frequency. And I want you to do that right now. Think of something that you're grateful for. And I want you to, it could be a loved one, it could be a recent accomplishment, it could even be the chair you're sitting on. Feel it. Do you feel that expansion in your heart? Throughout your whole body? Do you sit up taller as you think of that gratitude? Now that's pure magic, but I'm going to take you to a deeper magic with gratitude. First of all, yes, how about gratitude for yourself? What are some of the things that you have done or who you are or what you bring to the world that you are grateful for? That'll make you sit up even taller and even more. And then I'm going to take you to the third deepest form of gratitude. It's called gratitude in versus gratitude for. I am just grateful in this moment, in my relationship. It is not even with us. See, I can't go there. It's just like, feel gratitude. You can put it on no matter where you are or what situation you're in. And I will guarantee you it will shift the molecules to change things. You know, in the prelude to my book, Beyond the Box, I write a story called My Flying Leap. And I was flying through the air in a fall. I'd stepped wrong off a step and I was flying into a room of people. And my mentor, Mary Morse, he was there and everything. It was at this conference I was at. Flying into the room, I was 8 feet above the ground. And of course, you can imagine the thoughts that were going through my mind. I'd already had one knee replacement. I already, blah, blah, blah. And I paused midair and I went to gratitude. And from that gratitude, I knew I am well. And the rest of the story you can see right here, I am well. Okay, so we can change midair. But you have to pay attention to your thoughts. Always pay attention to your thinking. Okay, yes. Okay, so then we're going to go on to the law of reciprocity. Okay, and this law governs between the flow of giving and receiving. Okay, and there's even a deeper element of this law. But when we give, it's physics. When you change the molecules, we'll call them the molecules in the world through our thought, something has to come to match that, right? And so when we give, we must receive that outcome of whatever that thought is. That's the law of reciprocity. Now, I'm going to tell you first when the law of reciprocity doesn't work. Hey, you know what? I'm going to go tithe because I'm going to get more money. Because that's a tenfold, the blah, blah, blah. Now, feel the vibrational frequency. Give me, I want, I need. That is survival thought thinking. Okay, and we want thrival thinking, right? And thrival thinking is I am giving out of gratitude. Come from the heart. I am giving out of gratitude. But here's the other side of the law of reciprocity is that, where a lot of people block that is in the law of receiving, the idea of receiving. Remember, we're talking about giving and receiving. Oh, no, thank you. I pay the meals when I take somebody out for lunch. You don't get to do that. No, I don't need any help. I can do it on my own. We need to open up to the law of receiving. And I'm going to come back around to the idea that we are the divine in expression. Now, take it as, what if I'm the divine in expression and I don't receive? I fizzle. And the divine won't fizzle. We don't have to worry about that because the divine's got it figured out, right? But we, working within the universal principles, we have to receive. What are you worthy of to receive? And then let's go deeper. What is the divine worthy to receive through you? And then what is my investment in time worthy to receive for whatever? Okay, so it's not always am I worthy to receive? I use this a lot with our vision, right? Are you worthy to receive your dream, or is your dream worthy of you? Right? And so then, so give purely out of gratitude, even in business, even in politics, even in the traffic. I know you guys live up in Clear Lake. It's probably not as bad as it is down here. Or even in the midst of fire, because you guys have had dealings with fire just like we have here. And, that was the other day. It was like everybody was starting to get freaked out because we had a fire here in Dry Creek that's not too far from us. And you could just feel, talk about vibrational frequency, you could feel the vibration of people move into fear. right? And so with one of my clients who was in fear, I said, okay, what do you need to do to be prepared? Okay, have my bag by the door, keep paying attention, va, va, va. But next step is then, great, you've done what you need to do. Now move to divine perfection. I am well, I am safe, I am here, because otherwise that fear, it could even draw that fire towards you, and it may not show up as a flame. It may show up as something else, right? So pay attention to our thinking. So, okay, so I have this booklet here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in your chat, and hopefully you can download it. Yeah, there it is. And it has these 4 universal principles. When you print it out, you should be able to fold it in 4s and have it as a little booklet and carry it in your purse. Now, it's not going to work if you just leave it in your purse or your back pocket, right? You need to pull it out and use it, and it works in a really great way. So when you find yourself lacking sparkle, think, oh, let me see which one of these universal principles can help me right now bring the spark. Why do we want to bring sparkle back into our life? That's because when we are in sparkle, we are expressing the divine, and it will sparkle onto other people and touch their lives. And so you can open up this, and at the end of each of the descriptions is some activities that you can do. Like one for creativity is that you can even it says things in there. I don't have it. Wait, maybe I have it right here. Yeah. To begin building that creative muscle. And this is like building muscles. This is like preparing for a marathon, right? You got to start with the exercise, right? Here's the first Sparkle Challenge. Commit to one creative act daily, no matter how small. It could be arrange flowers in a vase, solving a problem at work in a new way, or even creating a new recipe. Watch as your life becomes a masterpiece. And also, as you read your vision you created today, you can know that you are at it, creating that creative muscle as well. So it will have some suggestions for you there. So in conclusion now, let's see, how can I conclude this? So, well, I dare you. I dare you to let your life sparkle. And especially in situations that you are really not feeling it. Sparkle when you are in an argument with somebody, and you don't do this outwardly because that can make things worse, right? You sparkle inside, go, oh, the divine is within me. Oh, the law of gratitude. Oh, I'm going to implement that right now. I'm really grateful that when somebody tells me that they had to move a piece of furniture or do some gardening or this or that, I said, you're alive. This is just talking about the fact that you are alive. Be grateful when you have to do chores. Be grateful, so on and on and on. I think I've said this enough. So you are meant to shine. You are meant to sparkle. You are meant to express the divine through each and every action that you take to the best of your ability. Anything that you can do to walk into the world and touch other people's lives through your sparkle. So, let sparkle shine.